exactly 20 years ago now.
1998, 2018.
No, 1998.
Eight.
That was 20 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
1998.
And what brings you to Senegal today? What brings you to Dakar?
Yeah, actually, I work with an NGO. The name of the NGO is Refuge Network International.
Sorry, say that again?
Refuge Network International.
Refuge Network International.
Yeah, not refugee.
Refuge.
People mistake
Refuge,
it for refugee,
yeah.
actually.
Okay.
But it's actually refuge. Refuge, called like a shelter.
Yeah.
Refuge Network International. It is a non-governmental organization, though I'm based in the UK, in London specifically, but we work with Africans. We're working in Morocco at the moment with refugees in Morocco, and we've been working in Senegal for a while.
About roughly how long?
Since 2014, actually.
Okay.
That's about 4 years now.
About 4 years
I've been
ago.
coming to Senegal for the past 4 years. Though my first time here was actually 1998, like I told you. I came here the first time because I was on my way to Europe. I wanted to leave Africa because of a lot of issues, which I cannot go into now. So I came via Senegal and then spent a couple of months in Senegal doing business, and eventually traveled from here to Cape Verde, and from Cape Verde I traveled to Martinique,
okay. And
then from there to Belgium, and from Belgium I ended in France, though I now live in the UK. Now,
and where in the UK? You said in London?
Yeah, I live in Clapham, in the south.
Clapham, South London, next to Croydon.
Leafy Clapham,
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
In the southwest of London.
Northern Line, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
Northern Line.
Good.
Exactly. Yeah, so that is where I live. My family is there as well. I do this work with my wife. Everybody's involved, my children as well, though they are small. They've been to Senegal as well.
Okay.
My children, we were here together 2 years ago. We're doing the work together. Yeah.
So you work for an NGO?
Yeah,
Refuge.
I'm actually the founder of the NGO.
Oh, you the founder?
Yeah.
And what do you do exactly?
Yeah. Okay, we do a lot of things. The thing is, we realize that there are a lot of problems in Africa, and we feel that Africans can be part of the solution to the African problem. We have so many problems here, and there's a tendency within Africa to look towards the West for help. You know, Africa has been projected as a country that is perpetually in trouble and needing bailouts from the West, but we're operating with the idea that Africa can be a solution to our own problems, you know, so that is what it's all about. So even though I live in the UK, I come back to Africa from time to time. Part of the problems we're trying to solve in Africa is the issue to do with migration, illegal migration. We have
which is very huge right now.
Which is very huge, actually. Yeah. There are a lot of Africans leaving Africa for Europe. Now, governments are perplexed. They don't know what to do about the situation. We see them coming up with draconian measures to try to curb migration. Yeah. But the fact is, history tells us it is never going to stop. People are going to continue to look for ways to flee if they have problems, if they are under threat, if they are under economic difficulties, if there's war, if there's conflict. People are going to continue to, you know, migrate. It is historical. It is there. It is never going to stop. But we think a lot of African lives have been, you know, wasted as people try to cross the Mediterranean to places like Italy,
to go to Europe, Spain, Portugal, and stuff.
Yeah. So what we try to do is to try to intercept some of these people, to try to tell them that there are better ways of traveling other than illegal immigration.
And where do you intercept them? Is it in Morocco, at the border, in Senegal?
Yeah, in sub-Saharan African countries, especially like Senegal, Mali. These the countries that are neighboring to North Africa. Okay. And then we do a lot of work in Morocco as well. We've been working in Morocco now for a number of years. We visit places like Fez, where we have large concentration of African migrants. Yes. There are a lot of Senegalese there, a lot of Malians, Burkinabes, a lot of the Nigerians as well. And these people live in horrendous conditions. You know, they don't have access to social facilities, social security. Many of them do not have access to hospitals. In fact, I was in Morocco just about 3 weeks ago. And one of the problems that came up had to do with a woman who had a child, an African woman. She had a child, but she's not been able to get identity card for the child because the system does not recognize her.
Yeah.
So these are some of the challenges that people are facing. And then we have a lot of Africans as well who are living in the wild in Morocco because they are homeless.
Yeah.
They left everything in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, and they're there now trying to cross over to Morocco, either by boat or, try to scale the fence at Melia, Ceuta, those places. So we go to them to provide them with basic help, like first aid items. At times we provide them with food items as well, clothes, stuff like that, just to ameliorate their condition. Yeah. And then the most important thing we are trying to do now is to try to show them that there are legal alternatives to migration that they could explore. That there are legal ways you could travel that may not be as expensive as you think. A lot of people are traveling because they are going through these dangerous routes because they don't know the legal process, other viable options they could utilize. So one of the viable options we are trying to prefer right now is to show people the possibility of traveling as students, especially the educated ones. A lot of these guys are educated, but they don't know what to do. Nobody has told them. So we are trying to tell them that you can actually, apply to schools abroad. And then if you are thinking about the money, not all schools abroad are expensive. There are places you could go to
especially in the UK,
UK is quite expensive. UK is quite expensive.
But there are other places. You have some few colleges which are not.
Yeah, there are some colleges that are a bit cheap. But even we look beyond the UK. I'm a migration consultant as well, and I'm actually doing a doctorate degree in international law, human rights law. In the area of economic and social rights.
Wow,
so I've done a lot of research on these things. There are a lot of places people could travel to that are actually way cheaper than even the UK.
Yeah.
Like in some of these Scandinavian countries, for example, you could go to school without actually paying anything. The university education in France is quite cheap.
Yeah.
Germany as well. And then there are places in countries like Canada as well that are relatively cheap.
Yeah.
But you need to do your research properly to discover those places. So what we do is to try to help people to uncover those hidden areas that they could go to without paying much. So that instead of wasting a lot of money through these dubious agents to procure passports that would see them in European countries as illegals eventually. We try to tell them there are other ways you could do this. We could help you to actually apply to schools. We'll do that. We'll help you to source for the right schools, and then we will help you in terms of with reference. If you are like we try to encourage some of them to work with us as well. Okay. So those who work with us as volunteers, we get to know them, and such people, if they are okay, we could equally provide them with reference to support their academic applications. Okay. So these are some of the things we are trying to do.
Okay, and do you work with any major government, with any major agencies right now?
No.
You're doing it alone?
Yeah, we're doing it on our own. Wow. And that is, apart from the fact that that is the way things are done generally, we feel that there are a lot of things we could do on our own. We are trying to come up with innovative ideas that we could use. You don't need to be very rich to do a lot. Yeah. You don't need to have a lot of how do you call it, material support to do a lot.
Just like our radio station, we're not rich, but at least we are actually live.
You're making it happen. I saw a lot. I saw you've gotten a lot of awards. Yeah. With minimal support, you are making a lot happen. That is what we need in Africa. We have a lot of resources in Africa here, but we keep depending on the West for everything. We are not even dependent on China now for a lot of little things that we can do in Africa. So the idea we have at the back of our minds is, let us try to utilize the little resources we have to make things happen in Africa. So that is the idea we have. We encourage people to travel if they want to travel, but if you don't want to travel, the young people here, there are a lot of things you could do.
You can do agriculture.
Exactly. You could innovate. You could, start a business. Yeah. You could grow companies. Yeah. We have a lot of students here. All they are thinking about is, government employment, and if they don't get that, they feel, okay, life is difficult. Yeah. You could come up with things. You could create. A lot of the big brands we have in the world today are products of innovations. Yeah. People are imaginative. People are creative. Apple started in a little warehouse.
Yeah, in a warehouse. Richard Branson, he never finished high school.
Exactly. Look at the Facebook one as well. Started at University Hostel.
Yeah,
so, but these are major brands. If you look at the major brands, many of them, they came out of nothing. They started as little ideas. It is ideas that change the world. But a lot of us in Africa, we're not thinking like that. The African youth, we need to begin to think like that. The other day I was asking a Senegalese man, I said, how many brands do we have in Senegal that are global? Think about it. Do you know of any global brand in Senegal?
Maybe Youssou.
Okay, Youssou, yeah, exactly. That is the idea. That is a person. He's okay. Yes, that is creative. Yeah, he's a creative person. Yeah. One-man brand. Yeah. But we don't have many people like that. Yeah. And that is, we're talking about natural talents now. Yeah. But we have the capacity to do some of these things. Yeah. But because we're not thinking outside the box. Yeah. We keep waiting for the government to do things for us. We want the government to do things for us. We want the white man to do things for us. We need to begin to think about what we can do ourselves. So there's so much we can do if we are imaginative, if we can think critically. So it is this kind of critical mindset that we are trying to develop, amongst African youths. Yeah. So I actually have a lot of programs planned out for Senegal. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm in the process of recruiting representatives from our organizations in various local communities in Senegal. Yeah. And part of the idea is to help to stimulate creative thinking amongst our people. Yeah. We want to start pushing our children back to school, not just to fill up classrooms, but to begin to think. We need to start teaching the African child to think creatively. We have to go beyond just looking up to people. Yeah. We need to begin to think for ourselves. Yeah. What can we do? How can we push Africa forward? What can we do with the resources we have? Africa is very rich. I was reading recently, research has uncovered that in the Republic of DRC alone, the resources they have there is worth about 24 trillion US dollars. Yeah. Do you know how
and
much
they can
that
feed
is?
The whole of the continent.
But then they are one of the poorest nations in the world. Yeah. And we have these resources scattered all over Africa. We are not using them. Yeah. And we keep looking up towards the west. So we need to begin to do something about this to move our continent forward. So this is all part of what we have outlined.
And do you have a siege right now in Senegal? Are you based somewhere or?
Yeah. We are based in Sacré-Cœur.
Okay,
Sacré-Cœur. Yeah, but the thing is, we're even trying to innovate. We are trying to go beyond that. Okay. What we are trying to do is to work in local communities. Okay. We are trying to set up. That's what I'm doing now. Okay. I'm recruiting representatives in various local communities in Senegal. Yeah. I already have a representative in Guadeloupe. Pekin, we are trying to get somebody in Pekin, Koloban, HLM, all over. What we want is to have little teams in all these areas to help us to stimulate local communities, so that we can get things moving at the grassroots. Okay. That is the idea.
And do you have any social media page where we can find you? I know you're tired. I don't want to keep you that long, but
all right. We have a page on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yeah. So if you type in Refuge Network International, okay, it will come up. Refuge Network International, not refugee.
Refuge.
Yeah,
Network
exactly.
International.
Exactly. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. Okay. We actually have one or two videos that have generated some serious likes on YouTube to do with this refugee situation. We have a major website as well, refugenetworkinternational.com. Exactly. We are equally on Twitter as well. Exactly. But if you get on our website, it would lead you to our various social media portals. Yeah.
Well, you can be sure to use cityfmsenegal.com anytime you want. Use our radio station, use the TV. The medium is here for you. We're here for organizations like you. I wish you all the best and come back anytime, my brother.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
It's a pleasure. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
man. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Pleasure.